Hello and welcome to Fingers on Plastic. It's LittleDave again, and this is Club Grayskull Beastman. Now, last time I did one of these figures which was already unboxed, I did Fisto, and I said I only had one more figure to look at what wasn't in its packaging. And I kind of lied, because later on that week I ended up getting a couple more from eBay, including this guy. I was really happy with him. He's one I wanted to get. I got him for a reasonable price with him being unboxed, and he did come with all his accessories as well. And whoever I bought him from also included a nice little handy stand, which is great. But yeah, this is the figure. With it being Club Grayskull, it is Filmation-style. So he has the colours and the look as how he did in the cartoon. So, like most of these figures in this range, it is a standard body type. I'll have a quick zoom in and have a look at him. But yeah, they all kind of have a standard body. Obviously slight resculpts every now and again, depending on the figure. But most of the time it is the same body, obviously just recoloured. And this guy in his lovely bright orange. Now, unlike obviously the classic toy look, it is like a standard sort of body. There's no sort of hair effects on him like the original toy or even what the classics range do. But obviously in the cartoon he didn't have that look as such. His mane would have done, but on here it's very sort of minimal, the sort of hair effect on that sort of mane collar he has. But yeah, we'll have a quick look at his face sculpt. But yeah, I think they've obviously captured this one really, really nicely. If you remember how he looks in the cartoon, that is a really good look for him. They've done him really well. And obviously the detail everywhere else I think's done great as well. Let's have a quick look at his back. Kind of standard there. Obviously they just fixed it at the bottom for his harness, sort of collar. And obviously his shoulder pads are just, well, bicep pads you could call them, the spikes. They're only a set of one, whereas in the original toy it was like sort of two. In the cartoon he just had one on each. Now, I'll just show him in for a quick comparison so we can compare the height on this guy. This was the Super 7 retro version from a couple of months ago. Obviously this is what the height of the original toy would have been like, but in this Filmation style. Now, one of the differences between this one and Fisto is this one was actually made by Mattel. At some point they stopped doing the line and Super 7 took over. Now, it's the same sculptors, which I believe is the Four Horsemen. We've worked with Mattel for many years on the sort of Masters line, classic stuff like that. And they were the ones who kind of designed this, and I think that's the designers they still keep, or kept, Super 7 were keeping, I should say, at the moment. Obviously everything's changed with the Origin line coming out, but at that point in time they were the ones who were designing everything. And the only difference between this and like the Fisto and later figures done by Super 7 themselves, the ankle articulation there, just let me pan down. We can have a closer look. Now the ankle articulation there is kind of not neatest thing in the world. It's a bit of an odd look. By the time we got round to other figures in the line, when Super 7 took over, it had completely changed and a lot of that joint was hidden, which is a bit better looking. But it's the only kind of sort of point for me I'm not keen on this one. Other than that, I think he's a nice looking figure. I'll zoom him out again. Sorry, I've just got a new fancy toy to mess with while we're doing these videos. And I'm just getting used to how it all works. If I can get him back on his stand. There we go. And I'll pan you back up again. But yeah, it does come with a couple of accessories. It comes with a whip. Now, this isn't like the original toy and the retro line one, and I presume the Origins one as well. It isn't made of material. It's not like a string. It's just like a kind of moulded plastic, so it looks like he's actually whipping it. And he also came with a shield as well. Now, I don't believe he actually ever used this in the cartoon. I think it's just an accessory they threw in. It did appear in the cartoon at some point. I don't even know if it's even Skeletor's henchman who used it, but it's thrown in there as an extra accessory, which is quite nice. You know, we all like extra stuff. But yeah, I like him. He's a nice figure. My only complaint with this one, with him having the standard body type, is that I believe to me, Beastman should be hunched over. He should have more of a sort of like kind of beast look in the way he's actually stood. This is like say, a standard body type for them all. So he's just sort of basic stood up look. If you, even in the cartoon, he kind of sort of hunched over and like he was almost well, very feral. And I think you don't quite capture that look with this figure this way. I believe the new Origins figure, which is obviously based on the original toy line, is in look a slightly longer armed than the other figures, so you can kind of pull that off a little bit. But with this one, with him just being a sort of standard body type, you can't do that. That's my only sort of pick with him. Other than that, I think he is a great looking figure. He looks like he did in the cartoon, and that's what I want from this range of figures. As much as I collected the toys back in the day, a lot of my love for this came from the cartoon, and that's the kind of look I really like. But no, I'm happy with him. I'm happy with the price I paid for him. A boxed one of these can go for quite a lot now, and considering I got all the accessories and he's in great condition, I'm really happy with what I paid. Obviously, like I've said before, this line is no longer going at this moment in time with Origins coming out. Hopefully, fingers crossed, eventually in a year or so they might return to it. I still think there's plenty of figures they could cover. I do have a few more of these, like I said before, to review, and I will be reviewing them over time, dotting them in and out with my Origins stuff and maybe bits and bobs from other toy lines. But I'm just not rushing them, because eventually my amount of them will run out and I'll have no more of them to review. Right, I hope you liked this quick look at Club Grayskull Beastman. I'll be back again soon with another review. Thank you very much.
Fingers on plastic.